Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is not the sideshow. This is not the undercard. This is the main event. Ryan Baldwin here with my right-hand man sitting on my left-hand side, the one and only Mason Shepard.
Yeah, I'm rocking a goatee now. This is goatee season.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, okay, we'll call it a goatee.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. I shaved a little bit too much.
Coming to you live from Denton, Texas, now with camera and now with the audio actually recording properly the first time. Last week was just a test. We've got this down at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was an action-packed weekend.
Yep.
But we're going to ease into it first.
Yeah.
We're going to start off with the Mount Rushmore of point guards.
Yeah.
Because now that
this should be interesting.
We've hit all the football parts.
Yeah.
We could go into offensive tackles, but that's really just
okay. I guess the only thing we could have done on football, which we can always go back to, is coaches.
Coaches too, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not nearly as...
No, it's not exciting,
Yeah.
and plus it's kind of obvious, so...
Now to basketball.
Yeah.
Point guards.
PG, not 13.
And I'm going to go first because he went first last week, so I'm going first this week.
Plus, I think y'all are going to be surprised because Ryan, it seems like it's going to be a little interesting. You already know we're going to share one, so why don't you tell him who the first one is?
Magic Johnson.
Of course, yeah.
But before him.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Before him. The Houdini of the hardwood.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Cousy.
Oh, yeah, okay.
From way back when. And when I say way back when, I mean the 50s. This guy, yeah.
So really, when all whites were allowed to play.
This was the 50s, and he was the OG floor general of the Celtics team. And he won like 4 titles, 13 All-Stars. The man could pass. He directed everything, directed traffic, and he could shoot. So he was like the OG floor general type point guard that kind of paved the way for what a point guard was going to be for the rest of his time. Then, still before Magic, Pistol Pete Maravich. Yeah. Because before white chocolate Jason Williams, there was Pistol Pete, and he made the flashy pass a thing. Way before Magic. I love Magic, but before Magic, Pistol Pete Maravich.
He's white, obviously, yeah.
Well, it's got nickname like Pistol, yeah.
No, I'm just saying, I'll let you finish your list, but I got an interesting point. I talked to my dad about it, and he made an excellent point. And I should have brought this up on all the other Mount Rushmores we did, but keep going.
Okay. Then, Magic Johnson.
Of course.
Yes.
It's not Showtime. It's Magic.
He was the guy that kind of took the Bob Cousy and the Pistol Pete and then name scorer, any great scorer, and combined it all into one. And he ran the Showtime Lakers. Yeah. And it was a sight to behold.
Oh boy.
So like I said, on my Mount Rushmores, I go with people who changed the game. So you have Bob Cousy, who was the OG floor general, Pistol Pete Maravich, who made the trick pass and the flashy play a thing for point guards. Then you have Magic, who took that and combined it with scoring and was on the first big scoring point guard. And then from the Golden State Warriors, Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Because he took that scoring thing, excuse me, he took the point guards and said, hey, shooting guards are having too much fun. Why don't I just start knocking down threes? Yeah. And then change the league forever because now you have to be able to shoot the three.
Well, not even just the league. He changed the culture of basketball.
Yes.
Now whether you're Pee-wee, I know that's not what it's called, but whether it's AAU or middle school, high school, college, professional, if you can't shoot threes, you're not a basketball player.
Right. And now they just keep trying to one-up each other and scoot farther and farther back away from the line. And that all came from Steph Curry, that explosive, second or third year in the league where all of a sudden
I would go third year, yeah.
He just exploded and started draining threes from everywhere and was doing insane dribbles between his legs and just throwing up shots that you look at that and go, that has no business going in. And all of a sudden, it would drop right through.
No, without a doubt. So I'm going to go through my list, and then I'm going to bring up a point about yours and the ones previous, folks, because I think that this is good. I'm shout out to my dad for bringing it up. So my list, obviously, Magic and Steph. We don't need to go into those. We already know. Sure. Also, real quick about Magic, being 6'9", he kind of paved the way for someone like LeBron to be able to play the point because, he was 6'9" himself. So, on my list, who I didn't think Ryan would not have, but John Stockton. Yeah, Stockton. Because I think an overlooked part of the game is assists, and obviously there were people who did it before him, but I mean, Stockton set records, my man. I'm not saying they didn't, but Stockton setting records for assists, being in the Hall of Fame for doing something. He wasn't shooting. He didn't have crazy handles. He didn't have the dunks, but just the fluidness of being able to just move the ball around on the floor and get people open who needed to be open. I think that Stockton deserves to be on a Mount Rushmore, if not Ryan's, then obviously mine. And the last one, I was hard, man. I'm not going to tell you. I was going between the Big O, Oscar Robertson, Isaiah Thomas.
There's a lot of good
ones. Kyrie, really, because of handles. But then when I thought about handles, I was like, well, there's the question. There's the answer, Allen Iverson. And I think for the sake of, being diverse and talking about different aspects of the game, because that's how I do my list, just different aspects, I'm going to have to give it to AI. Because now I was close to giving it to Thomas because he knocked Jordan out of the playoffs 3 times. But I got to give it to Iverson because I think, again, that was, in my opinion, having handles, the dribbling the ball. And of course, people did the flashy stuff, but that was like during street ball and like Harlem Globetrotter. AI was the first person, in my opinion, who really, besides like the guy who you brought up did the no-look pass, he was the first one to really just bring kind of street ball into like the NBA with the way he was able to have his handles and cross people over and breaking people's angles, even his look. Because even though like obviously black players have been in the league and they had several different types of look, because Michael Jordan did not look like Charles Oakley. Right. Just 2 different types of people. But AI just had that gruffness to him. He had the cornrows, he wore the headband. I mean, Carmelo Anthony followed him after that, and it was just one of those things where it's like, I just think he just brought that gutter type of like gritty style to basketball, but he was so smooth, and I just think you have to put Allen Iverson on this list. But to yours, and I give my dad total credit for bringing this up. The only problem with your Mount Rushmores, Ryan, the only problem is that and I'm not knocking you personally. It's just when you look at the grand scheme of things, you're pulling back from when black people nobody was allowed to play but white people. And I get that those people can still move the game forward. And that this isn't to say those people specifically were bad people, but it was at a time where the best competition really wasn't there yet. I'm not saying all black people are good, because all of them are not. I'm living proof of that. But I'm just saying that when you look at the grand scheme of things, until things got integrated, then yeah, and I'm like I said, it's not a knock on your list because those white guys did contribute something. Because it's like, it's not like being like, well, all the Celtics' best players have been black. I know that's not true because you have Larry Bird even before Bill Russell, like the guys you named and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, like, that is something that, in my opinion, you got to take into account, only just because like the best really wasn't all the way there. You know what I mean? Like.
Sure, but there's a difference. I'm not even saying that these guys were the best.
Yeah.
I in no way think that Pistol Pete was among the best.
Yeah.
But Magic Johnson was able to look flashy and do the things he did because Pistol Pete, granted, Pistol Pete, I think, was in like the 70s. So that they was starting to get integrated.
Yeah, 70s is fine. It's when you go like 50s, 40s, beyond that.
Well, sure, but like for example, with the quarterbacks, going back to Gus Doreus. Yeah, I mean, black players weren't in the league yet, but he came up with the forward pass.
That's what I'm saying. You can't ignore what people have done. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that's just kind of, it's just something that, I had never considered when we were talking about these, and I think that's just, it's less of a knock on your list and just an important thing to just point out. It's just like, this was still around the time when black people weren't allowed to play, and we are in Black History Month, folks. So, yeah, so I just think it's just one of those things that, is still worth mentioning. These guys were able to do all of that, and it's not a knock on their accomplishments, but black people weren't allowed to play it. You talk about all the people, especially in basketball, who were able to bring home trophies, especially with the Celtics, and in a place like Boston, which is incredibly racist. Bill Russell, 11 world titles. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So there is a prominence with, black players, in the integration of everything. But that was just my point.
All right, then. Let's see it. Mount Rushmore, black athletes.
Black athletes. Well, Muhammad Ali for sure. You can't have that without Muhammad Ali.
Yep.
I'd give it back. I would say Bill Russell because that was huge. Jackie Robinson, Jesse Owens, Olympic track gold medalist and stuff like that. And the reason being is because those guys, they were the first, in my opinion. Jackie, because and that's something people don't know. There had been people who had broken in to the MLB before Jackie Robinson who were black, but no one to that level in the sense of he had star power. And he was an amazing athlete. He was actually a triathlete. He played basketball. He was a swimmer. And he not a swimmer. He did track and and basketball and baseball. And Jackie Robinson was really that phrase. I think what makes Jackie Robinson stand out against the other guys who really broke in, because like I said, he was not the first guy. I actually know who the first guy was, but I can't remember his name. But the reason why he's regarded as the man who really changed baseball for black people and allowing us to play it is because he was so good in the minors in the sense of the Negro leagues, you just couldn't ignore it. He was so good in the Negro leagues that even white people were finding out this guy is good. He needs to be in the majors. And there was no questions asked about that. And it's kind of the same thing with Bill Russell because he was so good. And you can say that because people have argued, yeah, it's the time because look at Chamberlain and the records he set with scoring and blah, blah, blah. With Bill Russell, I'm sorry, you don't bring 11 championships to your team if you're not that good. Now, the team around you has to be good too. But I think we can both agree basketball is one of those sports where an individual can kind of, carry everybody. And again, I'm not saying that he did that, but at the same time, I'm not saying that he didn't. Because you can't be, especially with everything they were going through, you can't be that good and not be able to be recognized for it, which he is, which I'm happy about. And plus, I think Bill Russell set the precedent for Boston. In my opinion, if you want my opinion, he is the greatest Boston athlete. It's not Tom Brady, it's Bill Russell. Because he's the one who set that precedent of winning for the Celtics. That's why the Celtics will always be the most winningest team in NBA history. It's because of Bill Russell. It's because of him that, Boston has the spirit of winning championships. It's not Tom. It was Bill. And that's why Shannon Sharp, shout out to Uncle Shay, he always corrects Skip because Skip says Jordan's the GOAT based on how of his accolades. Bill Russell has more than Jordan does, and that's a fact. So I'm just saying here, I'm not trying to make the case for Bill Russell to be the GOAT. I'm just saying you have to factor in everything in that instance. Because I know people who would put Jordan on that list and not Bill. So
I was about to say, I was kind of surprised that Jordan didn't get on there just because at least, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't pretend to be an expert on it. But
yeah.
It seemed like he was kind of the first black athlete to go global.
Yeah, and see, but here's the thing. And I think the thing is with black people especially, we always, even though some of us don't, we always have to remember who laid the foreground so we have the ability to do these things. And yeah, Jordan was the first black athlete to go global, to be an international sensation, to where you can go to Iceland and you will find someone who looks up to Michael Jordan some way, somehow, somewhere. But he would have never gotten that opportunity if it wasn't for someone like Bill Russell. And that's a fact. And that's why Bill Russell has to be on this list and not Jordan, because, and even then, again, there are probably black people who made it before Bill Russell, but not to that level.
Fair, yeah.
And so with Jesse Owens, to be in during that time, to be as talented as you are, to be an Olympic runner, and to go to one of, if not the most racist, fascist, in my opinion, disgusting places, morally, of course. I'm not knocking the way Germany looks as a city, but to go to one of the most dangerous places for a minority in the world, Nazi Germany, and to compete. Because I think that's something that gets overlooked, and that's not to say anything to the Jewish people who were just had their lives disheveled and were completely and utterly just almost just wiped out over rhetoric and propaganda. That's disgusting. I think it's overlooked the fact that, it wasn't like Hitler hated everybody who wasn't of that, the golden Aryan boy.
Right.
It just happened that Jews lived there, unfortunately for them, and he made all those speeches about, it's their fault, which is awful. But he hated black people too. I'm just saying, like, he hated everybody. It wasn't, which is ironic because he was Austrian, not even German. But anyway, I think for Jesse Owens to be able to go there, win a gold medal, when literally nobody was with him. Nobody. Like, yeah, you have a couple teammates. I'm not knocking his teammates, but like, you have a couple teammates that support you. He's kind of like Jackie. But literally everybody else, no. Nobody wanted him to win, but he did it anyway. And I again, you don't get a Usain Bolt. You don't get an Allison Felix. You don't get a Sha'Carri Richardson. Even though with the way she treats legends, she probably doesn't appreciate it anyway. You don't get those people without Jesse Owens. And it's the same thing with Muhammad Ali. You don't get a Mike Tyson without Muhammad Ali. Mike Tyson is outlandish. He's crazy. And he was a rebel against the machine. You don't get that without Muhammad Ali. And I think because Muhammad Ali, what makes him so great is he was a black person who did his best work out of the ring. Was he the best boxer of all time? Yes. There's no doubt about that. You can waver on it, but you can't deny that, in my opinion, just where I'm sitting. And with, Muhammad Ali, taking a stand against the Vietnam War and not enlisting was something that, Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, just all these guys who were prominent black athletes coming out and Jim Brown just coming out and supporting him. It just shows that he was the Colin Kaepernick before Colin Kaepernick was really even born, obviously, or thought about. And I think, again, you don't have someone doing what he did like Colin Kaepernick without, and I'm not saying Colin Kaepernick wouldn't have done it anyway. It's just that you can't tell me that the comfortable level, because as we see, a lot of players don't say anything at all. With Muhammad Ali, he made it to where, listen, there are some things. He was the first guy, he was the first black person who was able to make it in a white-dominated world known as sports and go, there are more things more important than this. The society I live in, the communities I walk through, the people I come in contact with, my livelihood is more important. And to think about it, this is the 60s, to be allowed in this, to still get all the racial slurs and the boos and all this stuff thrown on you, and you decide that, nah, man, this isn't the most important thing. Because there are a lot of people, white, black, indifferent, who would have been able to get in there and just be like, yeah, okay, I made my start. I'm not going to ruffle any feathers because they just let me in here. But to fight your way in, no pun intended, and then be like, I'll walk out. I'll do what I need to do to prove my point and still come back and be the best. I just don't think you can't not have Muhammad Ali on that list.
It's a good list.
Yeah.
There you go. Straight from the man's mouth himself, the man, the myth, the legend, Mason Shepard.
Thank you.
That's a good list. And our point guard list was good too.
Oh yeah. It was interesting, but the thing is, man, I always expect you to come with
some kind of wacky old.
But I think it just shows the depth and the level that sports goes to in the sense of everybody's familiar with the stars who are out. Because I was born in 2001, so obviously I'm going to be familiar. With the Durants, even though this was still the beginning of their careers, really, the Durants and the Jameses and even the Iversons and even the '90s with the Barkleys and the Oakleys and then the Shaqs and Kobe and stuff like that. But it takes real skill, in my opinion, and dedication, more so is the word, to go and be like, let's go to the 50s. Let's look at some of these people and then everything else. So no, man, kudos to you for that.
Thank you. All right, well. Point guard's done.
Yeah.
And then next week, that may be the most divisive.
Shooting guards.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be divisive now.
There's going to be a whole
lot.
Okay,
again, well, no, that's small forward. Okay, yeah, well, we already know who we're going to share on that list.
Michael Jordan.
There's no way you can't. But you know what's ironic? And this is the crazy thing about sports. This is the crazy thing about the world. there will be people who will not have Michael Jordan on their list.
Which is baffling.
It's baffling, but hey, man, everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Yes, everybody is entitled to their wrong opinion.
Hey, man, some people probably weren't that impressed by Jordan.
Right.
And it wasn't even just a race thing. They probably just weren't impressed.
Which is, I don't know
I
how
mean, it's crazy, but yeah.
Well, tune in next week to figure out what 3 other players will be joining Michael Jordan on our Mount Rushmore.
But that was a dead giveaway, yeah.
Oh, yeah, shooting guards. If he's not up there, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back because apparently during last week, we got both the Hall of Fame class and the NFL yearly awards.
Yep.
And we're a little heated.
Yeah.
Find out why soon.
Very much.
Don't go nowhere. Welcome back to the main event. Ryan Baldwin, Mason Shepard, still here, still talking all of the sports.
You know it, man.
Last Thursday to be precise, the NFL released their yearly awards and the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2022. And we're going to start with the awards because that's a little bit less controversial for us.
Oh, yeah.
The AP Defensive Player of the Year presented by Castrol Edge. I think that's oil. I'm not sure what
it is.
It is. Castrol Edge. I don't know how they got that sponsorship. That Defensive Player of the Year must not be very popular. Pittsburgh Steelers pass rusher. They have him just listed as a pass rusher for some reason. TJ Watt.
Yeah. You know, I'm not going to lie. So I'm not going to say making a case for it because there's no way that would have worked. But I said, I told my dad, and of course he was like, son, that will never happen. But I was like, it would be great if Micah, because if TJ Watt didn't do what he did, like
if he did not break Strahan's record,
I thought he just tied it.
If he didn't
anyway,
tie it,
getting close to it,
then Micah was the shoe-in.
Oh, Micah was the shoe-in for sure. But then for only 9 games, and he was already tied with the sack record. So it was like, he's taking this one home. But he deserves it. And to think, our Cowboys could have drafted him.
Yeah.
Instead of Taco Charlton, which is great.
Don't bring that pain back in here. We don't need that negativity in our lives. We still have another 6 months before we got to start talking Cowboys again.
But yeah, so I think for my bad. I think for
put that anywhere, man.
I think for that, I got no problem with that. Whenever you get close to Strahan's record, that is insane. And I think, TJ Watt deserved it. I really wish he was a Cowboy. I can't stress that enough. But, excuse me, he's a Steeler. So, but good for TJ. No, that award went to who it was supposed to go to.
Yep, TJ earned that one. And then the AP Offensive Player of the Year, Cooper Kupp, wide receiver for the Rams after getting his triple crown in receiving.
It went to who deserved it.
Yes,
Cooper Kupp. Would you say that Cooper Kupp was the breakout receiver this year?
I wouldn't say breakout because he's
always been
seasons.
good. But you know what I mean.
Well, and here's the deal: it's only breakout if he continues to do this, right? Otherwise, it's just
he's been pretty consistent,
right? But I mean, this level of production.
Yeah, that's true.
Because otherwise, it's just he was a really good player who made history on a good season.
Well,
right?
Couldn't you say that about, because I've been seeing, and this is from ESPN, but I've been seeing people be like, Odell is back as one of the top receivers in the league. No, he's not.
Bruh.
He's not one of the top receivers in the league.
He played 6 games and then re-injured his ACL.
Yeah.
He's good if he can stay on the field, but he plays 6 games a year. Apparently he can't play in Cleveland. He's got to have a certain environment around him. No, we haven't seen this much diva since Terrell Owens. Straight up.
But Terrell was better. So
yeah. So I know I'm a little biased because I think OBJ I respect the game, but I hate the attitude. Same thing with LeBron. I respect the game.
Yeah.
But he is a whiny baby.
So is Brady. No one says anything about him.
Sure I do.
Well, okay, you know what I mean.
The Brady looking around just same thing with LeBron. LeBron gets any kind of contact and he's just like.
But you know what? When you're great, you can do that.
fine. But OBJ is not great. Not at that level. So he can't do that. Cooper Kupp, the first player since 2005 to lead the NFL in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. That's the receiving Triple Crown. Only the fourth player since 1970, joining Jerry Rice in 1990. Sterling Sharp in 1992. Not Shannon Sharp, Sterling Sharp. Let's make
they're still sharp.
Sorry, Shay. And the last player previous to Kupp to claim a Triple Crown, Steve Smith. So, back in 2005.
Yeah.
So, Elite Company definitely earned that.
Yeah, without a doubt.
There's really no reason anybody else shouldn't have gotten that.
Yeah.
For the defensive rookie of the year,
we already know
Cowboys' own
Micah
Parsons, who is already probably having Jerry sweating, trying to figure out how much he's going to get paid in a couple of years.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
He was definitely the most versatile rookie out of the class.
I've said it. You know, they were comparing him to LT, and I was like, that's not his style. LT wasn't that versatile, but again, his times changed.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of pass rushing, he was ridiculous.
To me, he was Clay Matthews. He reminded me of how Clay Matthews played. Because remember when Clay Matthews was younger, you could put him anywhere.
Right.
Put him on tight ends. Put him as a run stopper. Put him as a pass rusher. He played very Clay Matthews-esque football, and his future is incredibly bright. And I think that Micah Parsons is a freak of nature, man, in the sense of he's got so much He's got so much drive, and that word will come back as we reference the Super Bowl. Ryan knows what I'm talking about. If you smell. But anyway, so I think with Micah Parsons, he was. I gotta say it, man. I know I said on Sports Zone I didn't want to say this, but I gotta say this. He was the star of that Cowboys defense.
Oh yeah,
for sure. And I think that he's going to be the star for years, and I think they've just found their next DeMarcus Ware.
Yeah,
because I think now the question is, do they continue to let him play versatile, or are they going to go? Okay, you're on the line,
man.
You're tough. A linebacker. I say let him stay versatile.
Statistically, he was like your best pass rusher.
Yeah,
though.
that's what I'm saying.
That was the thing. It's like
let him stay versatile.
It
when
really
he gets older, then you can decide where you want to put him.
A lot depends on whether Randy Gregory comes back,
resigns.
Because if you can have Gregory on one side and D-Law on the other, then maybe you don't need him every down. But if Randy Gregory's not
Gregory is always prone to not always play, and I know that you can just substitute, but I'm just saying.
But I mean, like if he's not there, who do you have opposite D-Law? Like you need that pressure from the other side because otherwise.
But then you don't have one of your best linebackers there, and then you have to keep Van Der Esch, which they don't need to. So
this is a whole other conversation.
Cowboy stuff always make your head hurt. Anyway, well deserved. Congratulations, Micah.
The offensive rookie of the year, Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase, and this is the first one that I have an issue with.
Yes, he led the league in drops. Did Mac Jones really play better than him?
In the regular season, yeah, I think so.
It's
a toss-up. I will say it's
toss-up.
Close. Obviously, Jamar Chase looks a lot better because he made it into the postseason and made it to the Super Bowl and played really well in those playoff games. But for Mac Jones to kind of go into New England and take a team that didn't make the playoffs into the playoffs as a quarterback with not really a whole lot around him.
Yeah.
It was a lot of spare parts around him. There wasn't like,
to me it was the same New England team it's always been. They've never really had, besides Moss and Gronkowski and Seau, they've never and Gerard Mayo, they've never really had that many players that are just like off the charts.
Right, but like last year, Cam Newton couldn't do anything with this team.
Yeah.
And then this year, Mac Jones comes in as a rookie and takes them to the playoffs. Now, they had a rough game against the Bills.
Yeah.
But they still got to the playoffs.
I think how you're phrasing it is what they're going off of. Think about it like this, okay? Mac Jones takes team who went nowhere last year to the playoffs. Jamar Chase took team who went nowhere for years and years, Super Bowl.
Okay, Jamar Chase was good, but let's pretend it's not.
I know he didn't take them, but still, he's on the Bengals. They went to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? I think that's how they're playing it. I think if you want to go regular season, listen, man, and I think this is the reality. I think this is why you and Jennifer, who we love so much, the reason why he got it over Mac Jones is in terms of regular season play is like, whether Brady's there or not, we expect the Patriots to be back on their feet at some point. Not right now, but at some point. No one ever expects the Bengals to do anything. So I think
now we do.
Well, Bengals win next year. I'm calling it. Well, they need to. If they don't, they never will. I'm just saying.
We'll see. So that was the first one I had an issue with, but not even like a big issue.
No, because
but like I was like,
because out of those two, who else was it going to go to? So
right, there wasn't anybody else.
No.
I thought this was kind of fun. The Bridgestone best moment of the year was Baltimore Ravens kicker Justin Tucker's record-breaking 66-yard field goal. Yeah, sure, why not? I can't think of any moments that like jump off the page.
Me neither. Got to throw it to somebody.
And he broke a record, and sure, kickers don't get that much spotlight anyway, so why not?
They get that paycheck though. If I was a kicker, I wouldn't care. I'm still getting paid.
Now, the AP Comeback Player of the Year.
Should have gone to Matthew Stafford. And let me tell you why. To come back from being a Detroit Lion and then to go to a Super Bowl, I'm joking.
Okay, I was like,
no,
you had me scared for a second. And then he started making a little bit of sense, and I was now you had me really scared.
I mean, that's the joke. But no, okay, so we all know where this is going. Should Dak have gotten it for regular season play?
If this is a regular season award,
maybe.
then yes.
But again,
yes.
Like I told you, and I told my folks, when Burrow got the Bengals to the Super Bowl, I knew that was it.
Yes.
I knew that was it. And I think it's just one of those things where it's like, so let me put it to you like this. Do you think with the way that they give these awards out that it would be better to do these awards after the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Fair enough. I can see that.
I think these awards should encapsulate the whole year. Because, for example, honestly, I would say Joe Burrow would be, if you take the entire
he would be
MVP.
That's
Joe
what I was
Burrow
thinking.
would be the
MVP.
He took that Bengals team, put him on his back, even though he was laying on his back.
I think he still could have been, in my opinion.
Yeah. So
Rodgers did not deserve it.
I think if you take I think these awards either should be regular season only, and you do it at like week 18 or like right before wild card weekend.
Yeah.
Everybody votes right before wild card weekend. Then there's no playoff bias that sneaks in, because then I think that's how that happens. So it's Joe Burrow.
No, it is. Yeah.
Joe Burrow had a fantastic season, but regular season Dak was better. Better record.
Yeah.
Better stats.
Yeah.
All the above. So, but Joe Burrow, completely deserving of it.
Yeah.
I love Joe Burrow. Joey Ice, a great player. But if it's regular season, should go to Dak. Personal opinion.
Yeah. But like I don't have a horse in that race, only because, like I said, when the Bengals were going to the Super Bowl, I was like, yeah, he's getting comeback player of the year. So
the AP Assistant Coach of the Year, Dallas Cowboys' own Dan Quinn.
100% well deserved.
Yeah, he took that.
He brought that defense,
or the defense, yeah, from
way up,
like literally
one of the worst
2-3 in the league
to mid-level.
Yeah, which is huge.
Oh no, that's
you
very
don't
big.
do that in a year.
Yeah,
very often.
No,
if ever. I don't know if it's ever been done, but not that I can remember. Not
that I can remember either.
I don't remember a turnaround like this. The AP Coach of the Year goes to Tennessee Titans head coach Mike Vrabel.
Nah.
I will give, again, regular season award. I know they flamed out of the playoffs, but he took a team with Ryan Tannehill as your quarterback and no Derrick Henry for half of it, and
fair.
No Julio Jones, and still got the bye week, and they still won the AFC.
That's fair. I think, but I'm going to level with you. I think the only reason they did that is because Cincinnati couldn't get a triple. Like, let's just be real here. Like, and I'm not saying the Titans didn't do what you just said, but if we're being honest with the way they've been doing these awards, do you really think that Cincinnati's head coach was not going to be in prime consideration for this?
Sure, but I think
the Bengals were in the
should have been there too.
No, 100%. But I'm just saying the Bengals were in the Super Bowl, bro.
Yeah.
Like, but the NFL, they're not going to give people a triple. You know, Burrow got an award, Chase got an award. They weren't going to give it to the coach. So, but I got no problem with Mike Vrabel getting in. No, I don't have a problem with that.
I think considering. Like, it was one of those things where every week you're expecting the Titans to start falling off because they never had Derrick Henry.
Oh, yeah.
And they were missing their second best receiver. And I think A.J. Brown went out for a little bit, too.
Yeah.
So, so all of those guys going down, and he still managed to win the AFC. Solid performance.
Yeah.
Can't complain about that one.
Nope.
And I think that's all the interesting ones. Oh, of course. I was trying to sneak by this one, but the most valuable player, delivered by Pizza Hut. God, they just sell these now. Do we really need an MVP to have a, like, what did he? Do you think Aaron Rodgers, who won, by the way, it's Aaron Rodgers, spoiler, gets like free lifetime pizza from Pizza Hut?
No, I think he gets free lifetime immunizations. God. Look, look, you and I don't like Aaron Rodgers personally. A lot of people don't.
He had a fantastic season.
He had a great season. Whatever. Let's move on. I'm not going to put over Aaron Rodgers.
I think the only other person who maybe had a shot at it was Jonathan Taylor. I think he.
Yeah, he did.
I think he was. I mean, yeah, you take Aaron Rodgers out of there. Do they win as many games? No. But if you take Jonathan Taylor was literally carrying that.
I think here's the key, and I think here's why those guys were like top two. If you take both of them out, their teams don't do well.
Right.
But it's just like Rodgers has more of a name value.
And quarterbacks always get the bigger consideration.
Yeah, but it's not anything major.
No.
We knew he was going to win, so whatever.
Okay, now to the part where we get to rant and scream. Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2022 was awful.
Ryan, pull up the list that we went through last week and compare it to the list that we have now. Pull that up.
Oh, the people that we thought we were going to
pull that up, because these people need to understand why we're getting hot. Because, ladies and gentlemen, let me just say that this was the worst Hall of Fame class that I've ever watched. It was horrible.
Okay. Here were the semi-finalists.
That we went over last week.
Jared Allen.
Yes.
Willie Anderson.
Yes.
Rondé Barber.
Uh-huh.
Tony Baselli.
You know it.
Leroy Butler.
Bing, bang, boom.
Devin Hester.
Uh-huh.
Torrey Holt.
Boom.
Andre Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Sam Mills.
Boom, shakalaka.
Richard Seymour.
Oh, yeah.
Zach Thomas.
You know it.
DeMarcus Ware.
Boom.
Reggie Wayne.
Oh, yeah.
Patrick Willis.
Woo.
Bryant Young.
Yeah.
And we said Tony Baselli is getting in for sure because you have to get an offensive lineman in there, and he had a better career
than Willie Anderson. Yes.
And then we were debating Butler and
was it Butler and Barber?
We were debating Butler and Barber.
And then we decided on Butler.
We decided on Butler, and then we'll talk about that later. So Butler went in. And then we said Seymour because he had a pretty good career.
And he won rings.
Yes. And then we were expecting DeMarcus
Ware, Reggie Wayne, Devin Hester. I think
Torrey Holt. And I think that was kind of like maybe Patrick Willis.
Yeah, we said Willis should go. And I think, didn't we put Jared Allen in there?
Jared Allen was the big maybe.
Yeah, Jared Allen was the big maybe. Everybody else we said was going to wait, but those were the main ones, yeah.
Okay.
Read who got in, Ryan.
The 5 finalists, as voted on by some old dudes who apparently haven't watched football in the last 2 decades. Tony Baselli, Leroy Butler, check. Richard Seymour, also check.
Yeah.
The other 2 modern era finalists, Sam Mills and Bryant Young.
Say that again, Ryan.
Sam Mills and Bryant Young.
Say it again for the people in the back. One more time.
Sam Mills and Bryant Young.
Were they even in the semifinalist
Sam
list?
Mills and Bryant. Oh, sorry, I thought we were going next. They were not on our list. No, they were not.
Oh, no, yeah, they were on the semifinals list, I think.
They were semifinalists, but they were not anywhere near our radar.
No!
For one simple reason. And I'll bring up the stats right here because I had them, and I was shocked after reading this. Okay. Sam Mills was 100%. I'm sorry. God rest in peace. God rest your soul, Sam Mills.
Yes.
This was a pity vote in because it was his last year of eligibility. Here's the comparison. Sam Mills to DeMarcus Ware. Pro Bowls. Mills 5, Ware 9.
Yeah.
All Pro. Mills 3, Ware 7.
Yep.
Super Bowl wins. Mills 0, Ware 1.
Yeah.
Years as sack leader in the NFL. Mills 0, Ware 2. All-decade team. Mills, nope. Ware, yes. It is DeMarcus Ware and Devin Hester were 2 of the clearest first ballot Hall of Famers that I've seen in a hot minute. And nothing. And you know what it was? They were like, well, DeMarcus Ware and Devin Hester will be there next year, but it's really Sam Mills' last season to make it in. So I guess the stats are not there.
They're not.
DeMarcus Ware was the better player in every facet, and it's not even close.
That is an insult. In my opinion, if I was DeMarcus Ware, even though I know I'm going to get in, I would be. Ryan, by the way, was Sam Mills a Super Bowl champion?
No, 0 Super Bowls.
DeMarcus Ware was. This is the thing. I 110%, if I was DeMarcus Ware, would be upset because with all those accomplishments, you know what have also been well with that first ballot Hall of Famer that got taken away from him.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. even if you let Sam Mills get in because he passed away and this was his last chance, why compare Bryant Young to, because he played defense too, compare him to DeMarcus Ware?
1 second. I'd be happy to.
Because if he's still alive, right?
Yes, but Bryant Young was also a defensive lineman, so that kind of gets sticky.
but still,
or D tackle / D end is what he's officially listed at. All right. So he had 4 Pro Bowls, 1 All-Pro. 4 Pro Bowls, 1 All-Pro. DeMarcus Ware had 7 All-Pros. 7.
Now, how many Pro Bowls did you say D Ware had? Wasn't it like 9?
9.
9
Pro Bowls, 7 All-Pros. All-Decade team. Was Bryant Young All-Decade? Nope. He was the second team All-90s, but second team.
But that second
team.
We're talking about first team All-Decade.
He is ranked 89th in sacks. Bryant Young is
89th.
DeMarcus Ware's top 10 in sacks all time. Or sorry, 50. He's 57th overall, but that's official. But still,
no, that's official.
57.
57 out of how many players come through the NFL? And still with total sacks overall, he's still top 10 overall.
Yeah, DeMarcus Ware.
Yeah, DeMarcus Ware. That's what I'm saying. So it doesn't even matter. Like
I was just so
DeMarcus Ware should have gotten in first round. You cannot convince me of anything else.
And I'm going to say this, and this is it.
Also, Cliff Branch got in there.
I'm dying. Yeah, but he's one of the voted ones. He was one of the non-modern ones.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I am a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan.
Yes.
For all 29 years of my life. We'll call it 25 because that's kind of when my football consciousness kind of came in.
Yeah.
But Devin Hester was an even bigger snub. This man was the best kick returner of all time, bar none.
Yeah.
It's not close.
No.
He has more non-offensive touchdowns, non-offensive, non-defense touchdowns than anybody ever.
Yeah.
He was the best kick returner of all time.
Yes.
And now nobody's even going to come close now because nobody even returns stuff anymore.
No.
He is the single best returner in the history of football. And he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Nope.
You're going to give Bryant Young that Hall of Fame opportunity over a surefire. Here's the other recent first ballot Pro Football Hall of Famers. Let me see if DeMarcus Ware and Devin Hester fit in here. Charles Woodson and Peyton Manning and Calvin Johnson from last year.
Yes.
Troy Polamalu from 2020.
Yes.
Ed Reed from 2019 and Tony Gonzalez from 2019 and Champ Bailey from 2019.
Yes.
Brian Urlacher, Randy Moss, Ray Lewis 2018.
Yes.
LaDainian Tomlinson, Jason Taylor 2017. Brett Favre 2016.
Man, you're naming my childhood.
You're telling me DeMarcus Ware and Devin Hester
who played in that decade
are not the same caliber of player compared to their positions. Like DeMarcus Ware was a top defensive end for years. Same thing with Charles Woodson. Same thing with Champ Bailey. Same thing with Brian Urlacher.
Troy Polamalu, Ray Lewis.
Calvin Johnson, Ray Lewis. Peyton Manning was like top 3. I don't know about top 2, but he was like top 3.
Yeah.
And I'd say the same thing with DeMarcus Ware. He was a top 3 defensive end.
Oh,
Devin Hester was the number 1 kick returner every year he played. He wasn't a great receiver, but he was the best returner.
But everybody knew that he was known as a kick returner, so that's not a surprise.
Nobody was cheering for Devin Hester to catch a 10-yard dig route. No, they were there to watch him field punts and field kicks. That was egregious. I was upset.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Also, another snub, which I feel like is as big as the rest of them, Reggie Wayne, in my opinion.
Reggie Wayne, yes.
Reggie Wayne. Keep in mind, folks, he played in the same decade. It was one of the best receivers, and Marvin Harrison is already in.
And I'm glad you brought that up because I looked at Marvin Harrison's stats compared to Reggie Wayne's, and you want to hear the...
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, hold on. Let me pull them both up here. Andre Johnson, DeMarcus Ware, Reggie Wayne. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Reggie Wayne played 14 seasons, and Marvin Harrison played 13.
Yeah.
So only one difference. Marvin Harrison had 1,102 receptions.
Yeah.
And Reggie Wayne had 1,070. Right there. Marvin Harrison had 14,580 yards. And Reggie Wayne had 14,345. Again, right there. Marvin Harrison had 128 touchdowns. Reggie Wayne had 82. So the only big difference is the touchdown thing. In terms of receptions and receiving yards, he is literally right there with Marvin Harrison playing on the exact same team as him the entire freaking time.
And even then, that's the thing with touchdowns. Harrison played before Reggie, and Reggie was playing with Marvin, who Manning had already established a connection with anyway.
Yes.
There is no reason, just like we talked about Devin Hester and DeMarcus Ware, there's no reason. Reggie Wayne is one of the best receivers to play the game. There's no reason Reggie should not be on this list.
And on the other side of that one, Torrey Holt was right there, too.
Yes.
He was like, not the, because Marshall Faulk was there,
Marshall
too.
Faulk,
but he was the opposite part of the greatest show on turf. He had ridiculous stats. He was a top decade player and didn't get in.
Let's put it like this. You know who I compare Torrey Holt to, really? Terrell Davis, in the sense of, we can all agree, Terrell Davis, who is in the Hall of Fame, and everybody says this, he's the greatest postseason running back ever. In the regular season, maybe not so much. Yep. But he still got in.
Yep.
Torrey Holt won Super Bowls and was fantastic. In my opinion, they should have gone, because you said it was like 4 to 8. They should have gone 7. They should have not have just stopped at 5.
I'm not sure if the 8 includes the people voted in, which I think it does.
Yeah,
because they hit the full 8 with the 3 people voted in. So it's 5 finalists from the modern day. And if next year those 5 finalists don't include DeMarcus Ware, Devin Hester, Torrey Holt, and Reggie Wayne, they should just fire the whole. They should get new people to vote for him, because that is insanity.
The fact that they were not, and here's the thing, and this is my problem. All of those guys, and again, going back to Reggie, played alongside Marvin. This is my biggest problem, because one of the things that sports writers don't like is that these guys are not people you see every day. You don't see DeMarcus Ware every day. You don't see them like doing media appearances and whatever. Let me explain to you who they played with. Torrey Holt played with Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk. They're in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
DeMarcus Ware, and we're nobody from the Cowboys, but played with Peyton Manning. He's in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Reggie Wayne played with Manning and Marvin Harrison. They're in the Hall.
And
Edgar and James. Hall of Fame. Why are they not in there? And it's not just like, they went off a name value. They were some of the best at their positions, and they're not in there. I can understand you're going to make Andre wait, because he's like my cousin Cal. They didn't win. They didn't win any rings or whatever. I get that. And plus, cousin Cal broke Jerry Rice records. But still. But when you snub Devin Hester, that's disrespectful. When you DeMarcus, look, even if they made Hester wait and Wayne wait, you're going to snub DeMarcus Ware over Bryant Young? No. Every accolade shatters everything, and he's got to wait. Yeah. Unbelievable. But the fact that this was Reggie Wayne's second time snubbed him. Oh God. When I saw the list, I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Not to mention, too, like, I thought we had maybe looked at this a little bit, and I don't know how we came up with Butler over Barber, but somebody posted more side-by-side stats. Both won a Super Bowl. Butler made 4 Pro Bowls. Rondé Barber had 5. Butler had 38 picks, Barber 47. Barber had 28 sacks, Butler 20.5. And Butler had 13 forced fumbles, Barber had 15.
You know what it is? You remember when I told you playing on that all-90s Packers team was going to help? I told you.
Yeah, but statistically, Barber, because Barber played on that 2000
Bucks.
Yeah, the 2000 Buccaneers
with Gruden.
Yeah. I'm just like, I can't. There's no rhyme or reason to it anymore.
No.
I thought maybe I had kind of figured out,
No.
But no. Apparently I don't. Apparently I don't know what I'm talking about when DeMarcus Ware, who beats every other defensive player in pretty much every statistical category and accolade that you can think of, and won a ring, doesn't go in as a first ballot Hall of Famer, or when Devin Hester, the not even close, unanimous best kick returner of all time, every website says so, doesn't get in. He's the best to ever play his position ever.
Yeah.
Imagine if Tom Brady was not a first ballot Hall of Famer. People would lose their mind.
If I was Aaron Donald seeing what they did with DeMarcus Ware, I would be scared, to be honest with you, because he's got a ring and he has better defensive accolades than anybody playing right now.
Yeah.
And he's only going to get better because he's the best defensive player. Top 5 all time.
Imagine Aaron Donald not being a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I can see that. Look what they're doing to DeMarcus. I can see that. I can see that happening.
I have not been this upset since the Cowboys started flushing their season down the toilet.
Yeah, pretty much.
About a sports thing. This has been baffling.
Yeah.
This list came out, and I was like, I thought it was a prank. I was like, somebody.
You'd been punked by Ashton Kutcher.
I was like, somebody has put like the least likely to make it in and put it as a list. Okay, and then no, I actually read the article. It's like that can't be.
No,
that can't be it.
Worst list ever. Complete garbage.
And then here's the other thing. It's an injustice to all the other people that were like kind of on the bubble for next year, right? Like, because now next year, I don't even know who is eligible next year, who will newly be eligible. I can probably look that up, but in the meantime,
because in it you have to be out of league 5 years.
I think so.
Yeah, you have to be out of league 5 years in order to be considered.
But like, so everybody else basically moves back a whole year, right?
Yeah,
because like next year's finalists have to include DeMarcus Ware.
Yeah.
And Devin Hester.
They have to include everybody this year that got snubbed.
Yes. And here's the people that are starting to be eligible for 2023.
Yeah.
Cam Chancellor, safety from the Boom Squad from the Seahawks defense. Jari Evans, offensive lineman, not sure where he played. Matt Forte. One of the like longest tenured running backs.
They'll make him wait.
Dwight Freeney, a heck of an edge rusher.
He's got to get in.
James Harrison, one of the best linebackers and edge rushers of all time.
James has got to get in.
But like, do you put James Harrison over DeMarcus Ware?
See, but that's why he should have gotten in.
Exactly,
bro. They're gonna make James. We're gonna be mad again next year.
Exactly, because you also have Chris Johnson. You
CJ2K,
Carson Palmer.
Why is he? Why is
he's eligible? No one's saying, but and then Darrelle Revis. Is
Revis Island?
Yes.
My God.
And then another lineman named Joe Thomas.
Oh, from the Browns. Yeah, yes. Joe Thomas.
Yes. So all these guys you're looking at going like, wow, these are some really good
And then
names.
you have to think about Johnson, Holt, Wayne, Ware.
All these guys
Hester.
who should probably be in by now. Or like at least a finalist. Like it'd be one thing too if like if like Devin Hester had been named a finalist but didn't get the 80% to go in. I'm like, you know what? Fine. You recognize that he's going to get that's like he's going to get there.
Yeah.
But y'all couldn't agree that he was the first ballot.
But when he became a semifinalist, to be able to go almost all the way,
at that point, like just give it to him. Oh my God, this was just
and now they have to compete with bruh.
Yes, because now we got all these new names coming forward, and you got all the names, and like. There's a chance that some of these players don't even make semifinals. Like Jared Allen with this might not even make semifinals.
No, you're exactly right. With these players coming in, I'm telling you right now, Andre ain't making it as far as he did this time. Torrey may not either. He might, but he might not.
He should.
He should already be in.
Yeah.
If they snub Reggie for 3 years in a row.
The only good news is that there's no receivers coming in.
But they can't put both Reggie and Torrey in there.
They better.
They should have.
Okay, here's my dream for next year.
Yes.
You got DeMarcus Ware. You got Devin Hester.
Yes.
Reggie Wayne.
Yeah.
Torrey Holt, and then James Harrison as a first ballot.
Yeah.
I think if DeMarcus Ware doesn't get it, then James Harrison doesn't get it.
No.
But actually, would Darrelle Revis be a better first ballot Hall of Famer?
And think about it, Dwight Freeney also, because Freeney was Wasn't Freeney almost close to breaking Strahan's record?
Maybe they'll do Joe Thomas because...
Yeah, the lineman is always going to get in.
Because, lineman's going to get in.
Thomas will get in.
And Thomas is going to be better than whoever the other lineman was this year.
Thomas will get in. I think they might go Freeney. You know why they'll go Freeney? Because we see him more often on, like, ESPN and all this other stuff. I say Freeney's going to get in, but they'll put him in. They won't put Reggie in. My God.
Yeah.
And there's more names to come.
Yes. It doesn't stop that's the thing is like every other year you're going to have more and more people and you got people like Torrey Holt now and Reggie Wayne are starting to hit towards their 20-year limit.
Yes.
Like they're starting to run out of time.
Yes.
And again, that I think stat-wise that's the only way Sam Mills got in it was his last year and they're like, "All right, well, we got to get him in cuz it's his last year." Because if you look at his stats, he gets beat by DeMarcus Ware. It's not even close. He gets beat by Bryant Young and Seymour. The stats aren't even that close for that.
He gets beat by the new guys.
Yes.
He gets beat by Harrison.
James
he gets beat by
Freeney.
He gets beat by Revis. I'm just saying defensive guys at least.
God, this was such a frustrating Hall of Fame class. All right, let's cleanse our palates. We'll take a quick break.
Yep.
And then we'll talk, of course, the biggest attraction of the weekend.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl halftime show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was.
It was a great show.
It was a very good show.
But before and after that, there was a game, so we should probably also talk about
the game. I was thinking that, but because in that game, your pick let me down.
They let me down, too.
Wah, wah.
All right, we'll take a break, and then we'll talk the Super Bowl game. Don't go nowhere. Welcome back to the main event.
Wah, wah.
Brian Baldwin, Mason Shepard here.
You know it.
Mason just got done lambasting my Bengals because they dropped the ball on Sunday.
Literally.
Multiple times. And then Burrow just kind of tossed it in the general direction on the last play of the game. But before we get to any of that, at least it was a good game.
Oh, it was a very good game.
Without a serious dog in the hunt, I was pulling for the Bengals.
Yeah. I was too, because I wanted to see them win. But you know what? This is one of those games where whoever won, I wasn't going to be mad.
Yeah. And we got a good game out of it. It wasn't a blowout.
No, but I didn't expect it to be.
And I'll be honest, first quarter, I would thought we were in for a long night for the Bengals because the Rams came out early and
they were doing what I said Cincinnati couldn't let them do. I was like, okay, they started running the football. I was like, and I remember in my notes, I said this, and I'm going to say this on Sports Zone tomorrow. I was like, one of the ways the Bengals can win, they've got to stop the run for the Rams. Yep. They've got to stop the run for the Rams. And they did that. The Rams had 20 carries, but only 43 yards.
Yeah.
But then Matthews, and they got 2 picks. But the thing is with here's what happened. And I'm going to answer this question from Alec Rapp, love you, Alec, on Sports Zone tomorrow. The game was decided when the Rams scored first, because in a defensive game, that was the most important play of the game, because when the Rams scored first, and this was a defensive game really throughout, right? And the game went by fast for me. I don't know if it did for you, but when you play a defensive game, when you score first, you usually win, right? And the Rams scored first, and that entire first quarter, Cincinnati did not score. And it wasn't until
they got a field goal.
Yeah, they got a touchdown. Field goals do nothing but get you beat. And then in the second quarter, it was 3-10 because the Rams got a field goal, but Cincinnati scored a touchdown, and I think they got another field goal on top of that. Yeah, they got another field goal on top of that. No.
The
They
Rams
scored a touchdown.
The Rams got a touchdown, missed the extra point. And then the Bengals scored a touchdown to make it a halftime of 13-10.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Because I looked at the stats this morning and it went from 3-10, but I'm forgetting the 3 was already there, so it was just 7. So the Bengals scored, and then the Rams, they had 6 points. So yeah, the Rams scored. Yeah, you're right. The Rams scored again.
A touchdown,
but it was only 6 because they missed the extra point.
Yep.
And then, but see, that's the thing. When the Rams scored first, and then at the end of the game, when it's tied again, or it wasn't really tied, but it was close, and the Rams had a chance to win the game, that final score, because they had scored first, it was just Cincinnati can't come back from this. And even when they tried, it was 48 seconds, and they weren't even past the 50.
Well,
and the offensive line gave up 7 sacks.
Yes.
So,
I agree with you that scoring first is important.
Yeah.
But let's not forget that out of the second half, the first play, the Bengals scored on a touchdown and then picked off Stafford immediately.
Immediately, yeah.
But the defense held them to a field goal.
Yeah, they did.
And the Bengals never scored.
Nope.
That was huge. Holding them to a field goal changes the game.
Because the Rams did, and yes, folks, I will take credit because I said all of this stuff. The Rams did what I said that they needed to do to beat Cincinnati. They got pressure on Burrow multiple times.
With 4 people.
4 people?
They occasionally rushed an extra person to get Donald that one-on-one matchup.
Yeah.
But most of the time it was 4 people.
They rushed Burrow, got 7 sacks, and I mean, yeah, that's what happened. The Rams did what I said. They got pressure. They didn't completely shut down the run because Mixon had 75 yards and on 15 carries, but yeah, it wasn't like it was big, but still,
Right.
like, they were able to do enough with the run game to shut it down to where, but to be honest, I think Cincinnati wanted it to be a shootout either way, personally, because they didn't do a lot of running in the first place. Yeah, I think they wanted it to be a shootout, and I think that's the thing about it is that the Rams defense showed up, they came to play, and
they held him when they needed to the most.
Yeah, they
didn't
did.
always hold him, but they stepped up
when it came down to scoring touchdowns or completing a fourth down.
There's that 4th and 1 on the opening drive for the Bengals in the very first quarter that the Rams held them to, and that's another big turning point where
they scored off of that.
Yeah, they scored a touchdown off of it, but also they kept the Bengals from getting anything on 4th and 1.
Yeah.
The defense wins championships. That's always the name of the game.
Yeah.
Stafford tried really hard to give him the game. I mean, really.
He had 3 TDs but 2 picks.
And only the first touchdown was really his fault. The first interception, the one where he just yeeted it all the way down to the end zone.
Yeah.
That one never had a chance. The second one went off the receiver's hands, and you're just sitting there going like, well. And I'll be honest, I thought after that pick, the second pick on the back of a touchdown, I was like, oh man, the Bengals are about to blow it wide open. They got the ball back, scored a touchdown, which. That touchdown should not have counted.
No, because
he got away with it.
Because we were like, oh, Ramsey got burned, and like, well, he yanked him,
his face mask was over here. His legs were over
here.
So
it was like, but I think what this does is it just, for one, it proves that it was never Matt Stafford. It was Detroit. Which is saying something.
Yes, and Matthew Stafford is a good quarterback. We can all stop talking about it now.
Yeah, he's a Super Bowl champion.
He's a Super Bowl champion. He's a good quarterback.
Yes, he's good.
There, discussion over.
Nobody asked again. I also think that in terms of,
although to be fair, Joe Mixon was the best quarterback on the field last time. 100 QBR, 131 passer rating, 1 for 1, 6 yards and a touchdown. Sign this man up.
Yeah, sign this man up for next year because this year's already over with. But I think that personally, I think that good for Matt Stafford. And once again, called the MVP. I said if it's not going to be Stafford, it'll be Cup.
Yep.
And that's who it was good because who else was it going to be? It wasn't going to be Aaron Donald because they were going to
Higgins
double.
Would have won it on the other side if
that one I wouldn't have called.
Because that was he had 4
receptions, 100 yards
and 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns, yeah.
And Cooper Kupp had the 8 for 92 with 2 touchdowns.
But the game-winning one was his second. So.
So
that was it, yeah.
And Aaron Donald didn't have his best game in terms of stats. Mostly because, when you
doubled.
He got doubled every time.
And when you send 4, you're going to get doubled. So.
But he came up with sacks when he needed it the most. And he got pressures when he needed it the most. And he got to the quarterback when he needed to the most. That last play of the game where Joe Burrow didn't even have time.
No, I think here's the thing. Aaron Donald didn't have to have his best game. Like, he didn't have to blow the numbers off only just because this man is a 7-time first-team All-Pro. This man is a 3-time. That's only happened like maybe a couple of times. 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, close to breaking Strahan's record, and he's now Super Bowl champion. This man could retire today, and he would be in the Hall of Fame.
Which there's thoughts that he might, but not.
Nah, he wants to compete. He wants to win more.
No, somebody's going to pay him fat money, and he's going to be like,
Aaron Donald's not retiring now.
I could do 5 more years of this.
Yeah, he's not going to retire now. The thing is, he could.
So the thing is, congratulations to the Rams.
Yeah,
you did what you set out to do this year when you brought on Von Miller and you brought on OBJ and you brought on Jalen Ramsey.
Yep.
All these guys that you're like, okay, we can win now with these guys. You did it. You won now. I hope you enjoyed it.
I think that was the thing. I think that was the thing with the Rams. They knew they were never going to be able to do it again.
Yeah, because you've spent all your capital getting this together.
Yeah,
and if they don't all come back next year, like the Bucks put together,
I think they will.
I don't know about all of them. I just don't know how they can pay all of them.
Ramsey, I think, may leave. I think Ramsey may leave. Or is he still on because they got him before everybody else, right? Like he had been there before everybody else got there.
Yeah, he was there at the start of the season.
Yeah, so I think Von Miller's gonna stay because he's older.
He signed a 5-year.
Yeah, so he'll be there.
So he'll be there a while still. But like they spent.
I think Von is gonna stay, man. I don't see Von Miller going anywhere else.
I mean,
and OBJ is definitely not leaving.
Vaughn is like
but he's older.
He's older, yeah.
Either he'll retire, but he's not going to another team.
The real concern is like not even concern. It's like, will Donald take a hometown pay cut?
I think he would.
Yeah, because he like somebody would throw max money at him, but the question is, would he take it versus like and maybe it's one of those Buccaneers type cases where like if a lot of people are staying, he's like, you know what? Sign me up for a year on a small deal, and let's see if we can get another one.
I think Aaron Donald's one of those guys, for the betterment of the team, he would take a pay cut. Because even now, he hasn't been getting paid what someone like him. But here's the thing. We say that, but this is the NFL. These are professional athletes. They're living in houses and have houses in other places. Aaron Donald is not hungry for money. Trust me.
And then for the Bengals, sad day, but a good season overall.
Well, no one expected them to get that far.
Nobody expected them to get that far. Again, this was Joe Burrow's basically rookie and a half season because he played half of his actual rookie season before blowing out a knee.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the nice thing about the Bengals is you know exactly where to go in the draft and in the free agency, and that is plug up all the holes in line.
Personally, I think the Bengals will be back here next year. Because here's the reason I think that.
I don't know about Super Bowl. I would say AFC Championship game for sure.
I think they have, but here's the thing. I think they have to be because, let me put it to you like this. There have been many teams. Let's take the Falcons, for example. They have that 1 year. Rest of the time.
Yeah.
The Bengals, because here's the thing about the Steelers. They're going to rebuild at some point. The Ravens are going to get back to where they were at some point. The Browns... Okay, so the Ravens will be back where they were at some point. The Bengals are not going to have every chance to do this. And let's not also pretend like Mac Jones is not going to help the Patriots get better. Let's also pretend like the Bills are not going to show up again. Let's also not pretend that the Titans will not get back to prominence.
And, the Chiefs are going to be good. The Raiders look good. The Chargers look good.
I'm saying they need to win it next year.
The Colts have a good
with Jonathan Taylor. And, that's what I'm saying. They need to win it next year because if they don't, they're going to run the risk of never doing it at all.
I don't know about never at all because the Steelers...
Like, they'll win their division... But it doesn't mean they'll win the conference.
True, but the Bengals, nobody thought they were going to win it this year either. So, look what the nice thing if you're a Bengals fan, you're like, you know what, we had a really good run, and we know exactly where our deficiencies are on our team, and it's that offensive line.
Yeah,
and if we can draft a couple of good offensive linemen or pick up somebody in free agency, then we're square.
Yeah. Also,
but the other thing is, they're kind of running it. Eventually they're going to run into what the Cowboys did, where they have a bunch of young, good players and don't know how to pay them.
Yeah, that's true.
They might be. I don't know that if their owner and GM are going to be better off than Jerry Jones, but eventually Burrow's going to need money. Jamar Chase is going to need money.
I feel like they will be because they kept Marvin Lewis around for years. Like they didn't just run him off.
True.
So I think since he's more chill than that, but I also think just personally. I think one of the biggest things about the Bengals that, they're going to need to do is offensive line for sure. But I feel like they're going to need to get Burrow, like one more target. Mostly.
You think so?
It doesn't have to be a wide receiver per se. I'm not saying that because he's got T. Higgins and Jamar Chase.
And Tyler Boyd.
And
Uzomah was a good tight end.
No, I'm not knocking Uzomah. I'm just saying, I feel like if they get him...
They need like a Cedric Wilson kind of fourth option there.
Yeah. You know, okay, for instance, you know how I'm trying to think. You know how, you know, teams have perfect example, the 49ers, right? Not only do they have Kittle, but they've got Juszczyk. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Like, when I say target, I don't necessarily mean like it has to be a wide receiver or a tight end. He has two pretty serviceable. He's got a serviceable tight end, and he's got, you know, three great wideouts. But I feel like, because I just feel like a fullback who's versatile, like a John Kuhn was, or a Kyle Juszczyk, I feel like that would be something that would ironically help like nudge that team. Because here's the thing: when you just have those four, here's what's going to happen. Okay, Higgins will be open the majority of the time because nobody's going to let Chase always get open, even though he's one of the best finishers in the league, right? Uzuma technically isn't your safety blanket because the Bengals have worked it out to where their safety blanket is number one running down the field. And I think when you have that fullback, you know, it gives them options. Like, say, for instance, right, that 4th and 1, you got pressure, but you got a Juszczyk type of fullback there, right? He dumps it off to him. That Juszczyk style fullback is going to get that yard. If you know, like Aaron Donald being all over you doesn't help, but I'm just saying, and that's a stretch, but I'm just saying I think the Bengals could benefit from something like that, because other than that, everything is just offensive line based. And yeah, that's obvious, but I think a good fullback, and this is just my opinion, I think a good fullback could help that team get over that next hump. Possibly. Plus it would be good for pass protection.
Yeah, I'm just not sure. It's not like offenses really line up with a fullback anymore. No. You basically have a pass blocking running back.
But that's what I'm saying. But now do you see? That's what I'm saying. It would help give them an extra edge.
Yeah.
It would be because here's the thing, and this is the thing, you know, when especially saying the word target.
So you want like a Zeke. You're saying you want like a Zeke back there who can maybe run the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
Who can maybe go out for a pass, but really they're going to be a pass blocker and then maybe like a chip and go or something like that.
Because I think that, I mean, hey, we see how that helps San Fran, because Garoppolo's okay, but with Kittle, Juszczyk, and Debo,
I think maybe that's a secondary, but I think like you gotta plug up. So like the fullback does no good if the defensive line is just, like all defensive line.
Oh no, offensive line is number 1 on their list. It has to be. They were number 20 overall this year, which was surprising. You'll never guess who number 1 was. This entire year, you'll never guess who the number 1 ranked offensive line was.
Jacksonville?
Dallas. Number 1 offensive line.
No.
We look it up. We were the number 1 offensive line, and it blew my mind.
How?
I don't know.
We didn't even field like the same offensive line for half the game.
I have no idea. I looked it up to see where the Bengals were, and they were 20th, and Dallas was ranked.
Wait, you mean the offensive line that allowed like 50-something sacks?
Let me look it up, dude. I'm telling you, I'm
20th.
Folks, I'm not making this up.
Okay, so Jacksonville had to have been worse than Cincinnati.
Let me look this up.
But there can't be that many people that were. I can't.
I'm telling you the truth, dude. Look, final 2021 offensive line rankings.
Okay.
Dallas is number 1.
All right. Okay. Yeah, because look, they have, in case y'all can't see this, they have Tyrone Smith, Connor Williams, Tyler Biadasz, Zach Martin, Lyle Collins. Tyrone Smith and Lyle Collins didn't even play a full season.
Yeah, that's true. And but trust me, I'm not agreeing with
that. That is prime Tyrone Smith, because there's no way this year's Tyrone Smith was anywhere near number 1 overall offensive line level.
Well, that's where he's been put by Pro Football Focus, folks. Like, I'm not making this up. We were the number 1 offensive line. I don't know if this is NFL ranking or if this is an opinion. No, this is like rankings. This is like offensive line rankings. Like, yep. Like, I'm just saying, man, that I can't. I looked this up. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I was like, how are we number 1? Okay. Inoffensive offensive line rankings, but we were still number 2. And the Bucs were number 1, which kind of makes more sense. But still, man, I'm telling you, like, we were the number 1 offensive line, and if we weren't, we were number 2 behind the Bucs.
All right, well, Pro Football Focus is smoking something.
Hey, man.
And I want some of whatever they've got over there.
Are you allowed to say that on here?
I don't know. I'll cut it.
Okay, Jose.
Yeah. You're right. So Super Bowl, another NFL season in the books. I'd say a very good NFL season overall.
One of the best in my opinion, because you never knew which way it was going to go, and the playoffs was one of the best to date.
That divisional round was one of the best rounds ever.
The
conference ones were very good.
Very good.
And the Super Bowl was solid. So I think
solid Super Bowl. Yeah,
that was a fantastic NFL season, and now we've got 2 months to the draft, I think, and 6 months till training camp.
Yeah.
Mark your calendars. 6 months from now.
We'll miss you, football. We always do. You're leaving us with basketball.
There's worse sports to be left with.
You're leaving us, soccer.
Cross-country skiing. Underwater basket weaving.
I would watch that.
Underwater basket weaving?
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of would too.
Because someone's going to pass out.
I hope not. Drowning if you pass out underwater.
Well, no, they'd have people waiting for them, but somebody's going to like they would go in there with like a GoPro. Like, so if they see like a body like this, like then someone's gonna come get them. Like, you can't do that and not expect people to pass out.
Coming soon to a pool near you.
Underwater basket weaving,
sponsored by Mason
Shepard.
No,
yes, don't sponsor it by me. I'll be one of those people laying like this. No, don't sponsor it by me.
Thank you very much, guys, for watching the main events and tuning into and listening wherever you may be listening or viewing our media from. Big ol' thank you to Mark Lambert and Dan Bala from KNTU, letting us use the green studio deep in the heart of Denton, Texas.
Yo.
I don't know what I was going to say next.
Aren't you going to do like your usual sponsors or shout outs? Or did you already just
Castrol Edge. Pizza.
He did not know that was an oil. Wait.
We already saw that segment. You ought to repeat that.
I know, but still, like
Tune in next week, same time, same place. Now, also, a little self-plug too. I have made the KNTU Podcast YouTube page. All of our content will be available on YouTube. The channel is KNTU Podcast.
KNTU Podcast.
Every single episode
of the main
video.
event, my boy.
Yes.
Oh, folks, you're going to be excited. So I'm making this announcement now, and Ryan's going to hate it. But the WWE Elimination Chamber is this Saturday.
Yes.
So you know what that means. Russo and Jose
Moreno and
will
Jeremiah
be back
Russo.
next week.
Another
Make
segment
sure
where
you
I get
tune
to tune
in.
out.
Boom.
Y'all have a wonderful evening.
Oh, this is going to be great.